Everybody, Brent here. Wednesday, October 22nd. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, all chopping down towards 10 or 11-day lows. We'll talk about why that's significant. We'll talk about some great meme and altcoin setups and be doing a Q&A. Today, I heavily want to focus. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything you're worried about, let me know. First of all, if it's the first time you're in the stream today, let me know. Put first time in the stream. First of all, welcome. And heavily want to do a lot of questions, talking to the chat today, reviewing a lot of stuff. Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol are still telling us everything we need to know about what I think 2026 is going to be. Which again, I think Q4 will still have some fireworks to end the year, which we'll talk about. But really, what I think is setting up for a strong 2026. We'll talk about that. We'll be talking about, like I said, ETH and meme and altcoin setups, the top 5. We'll be talking about the $25 million NFT sale for the Up Only and podcast to come back. For those of you guys who've been around for a bit, obviously remember Up Only. Great podcast, one of the best crypto podcasts ever. We'll be talking about what that potentially means for NFTs. Again, not too many crazy things going on today, but again, I think Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol are telling us everything we need to know about the next few months. Before we get started, though, first of all, let me know 2 things: where you're at in the world, what country you're coming from, and then 2, if it's the first time in the chat, say first time. If not, you've been in here for a while, say OG. Like, all right, let's see. What's up? Uranus looks good here for sure. What's up, Hayes? How you doing? What's up, Synex? What's up, Desi? Hope everybody's having a great day. Before we get into it, if you guys could please like, comment, retweet, bookmark, it's always appreciated. Do these streams twice a week, at least for now, Tuesdays and Fridays. The last 3 or 4 months, really the last 3 or 4 months, we've caught. We'll say the last 6 months, we've caught Pengu, SPX, USDUC, most of the few great plays of this year. It's been mostly a slow year, but been doing these streams for about a year now. Together as a stream, we've caught a lot of the great plays, learned a lot, talk about a lot about my journey, different stuff that I've learned. Have had a lot of cool guests on lately. My boy Nigma, learned about how he sees charts and how he sees the markets. We had Basement Ron on last week, which was super interesting. And we'll continue to have more guests as time goes on. Again, I think crypto been a really, really fucked year, to be honest, in a lot of ways. Been a few great opportunities, but been mostly a slow year overall. And I think you can view that a few ways, right? Obviously, a lot of people are wiped out. I lost a little bit of money in the leverage wipeout, but really not a lot going on. You can look at it as 2 ways. Again, it's either like it's completely fucked, or kind of the way I think about it is, if meme coins in crypto is to become like a sustainable asset class up there with equities and gold and all these other long-term asset classes, we should expect there to be down years. right? It can't be up only. In fact, in the past, whenever there was 2 years of just craziness in crypto, it led to a big 90% bear market, right? So I think especially in meme coins, um, if it's going to be a more sustainable long-term asset class, we should expect there to be, 2 years like we had in 23 and 24, which are very strong, and then an off year in 25. And I think that leads to a very strong year in 2026. So let's go ahead and get into, let's see, I want to read the chat real quick. Germany. Okay. That's what's up. What's up, Hayes? OG, I know you've been in here for a while, Hayes. Hungary. Florida. First time. What's up? Trump card. Nice to see you. I appreciate you guys. Right now, we're about maybe next stream or the stream after, we'll have something for the newcomers. Maybe 5 to 10 hours of content, some other resources that have really helped me. So look out for that. OG gang, what's up? Cinex, nice to see you. And again, just so you know, if I'm calling you guys a crazy ass name, just know that it's showing me your ats and not your actual names on there. So first time from Thailand. What's up, Sauce and Pasta? I appreciate you for coming from Thailand. That's amazing. I've heard you can do a lot of great things for Thailand for not a lot of money, and I've heard it's a nice place. People are nice and everything. Hello from Switzerland. That's what's up. Have not been to Switzerland. Dubai, first time. What's up, Soul Pearl? I assume a lot of you guys are from the channel. If not, make sure to definitely check out Boss Man Calls. It is where I'm very active on Twitter, but all my more longer form, in depth trade ideas, the USD UCs, the Pengus, SPX, all were posted first in the Telegram channel. Obviously, we have my great friend and business partner Boss Man as well, who posts a lot of great stuff in there as well. Check that out. OG from Norway. Wow, we got people from everywhere. I love that. Love that. Building a community of people from all over the world. Some weeks here. Yes, I've seen you. I've seen you. GM from San Francisco. That's what's up. I am too from California, but Southern California. Boss Man Calls. Seeing you guys pour in from the channel. We are going to get started here talking about Bitcoin in a second. Just wanted to say what's up to the chat before we get started. I see Cinex Dgen, which, hold on, I want to look up your name. Who the fuck? Okay, Cinex. Okay, cool. That's the same name as there. Cinex says, I see inverse head and shoulders on the Bitcoin one daily. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Cinex potential inverse head and shoulders. I think you mean this. It's a little bit of a wonky one, but I do think there's a good potential that Bitcoin does leave this low untouched at 105. We'll talk about that just in a second here. What's up, Cody? How you doing? Stopped leverage completely after last week wipeout. Hey, that's fair, man. It's been a definitely right now. There's so much opportunity just in buying spot coins right now. Like you literally meme coins, altcoins, everything's down 50, 60, 75%. I don't think you need to overcomplicate it with leverage at all. Let's go, Brent. Bossman calls chat in the Telegram. Hayes Webs, always good to hear you on stream. Love you too, Hayes. How you doing, bro? Hope everything's going well with you. Hungry. Damn, we got Hungry. Gem Cabal says Bossman calls Ireland. That's what's up. I am Irish. Holy shit, I can't speak. Irish. Not I'm many generations back from the United States, but I do have Irish blood in me. My last name, obviously, I'm not going to say it, but for some of you sickos, but my last name is actually Irish. Clean inverse head and shoulders on Bitcoin. It's nice here. It's not here, but it's awake for your stream. Appreciate you for being on wherever you guys are out in the world. The dirty South. Okay. I've actually spent a good amount of time for the first time in the South this year. I went to Texas and stuff years back, but I spent some time in Orlando, New Orleans, Atlanta last year for actually most of the summer last year. I really love Florida. I love all of the South. I really like Texas. Florida's nice. New Orleans was definitely different. Went there right during the Super Bowl. That was cool. Enough about me though. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Appreciate Hawaii. Always is good to see you, Fish. Another Irishman too. Okay. Let's get into Bitcoin. I know that's why a lot of you guys are here today. By the way, this if you just popped in, the stream's going to be super interactive. I'm going to go a lot from the chat today, questions, comments, all that good stuff. So anything you've been wondering about, anything you've been on your mind about crypto or whatever, about crypto, really, the markets, let me know, and I'll go ahead and check that as well. But Bitcoin, this is kind of, if you've seen me tweeting the last few days, you know that I'm feeling very strongly that the bottom is either in or very close for the majors. I think ETH and Sol have the cleanest setups of all three, or of really have the cleaner setups versus Bitcoin, believe it or not. For me, if you just go back to the higher time frames, I think what we're looking at here on ETH, especially after the bounce that we had on October 12th, is very corrective in nature. Okay. Talk a bit about this stream, but the way I view the charts in the market is heavily focused on breaking the market down into the three major phases, which is impulse, correction, or peaking, which is tops or bottoms. Okay, each of those characteristics or each of those phases have distinct characteristics. Okay, versus the others. Okay, corrections are slow, choppy moves between impulses. They're telling you that you're going to see continuation eventually after the correction. Impulses are these big moves up or down. They're what you want to catch. If you're long, you don't want to get caught in an impulse. If you're to the downside, if you're long or holding an asset. So to me, really in short, without getting too much into it, what we're looking at here on ETH is way more corrective in nature versus an impulse, which we might need to worry about like 2021. Okay, what a lot of people are freaking out about is, right, they think that we're entering a 2021 type bear market where ETH is just going to top out here and go down 50% over the next 6 to 7 months. Okay, while anything's possible, I think there's a clear difference just in the charts in 2021 versus what we're seeing right now. In 2021, for example, it consolidated here essentially at 4,100, didn't take out the $4,100 high, and then went down about 50% almost within, what was this? In about 2 months or about a month and a half. Okay. Versus this correction on ETH and the other corrections we've seen during this bull market, ETH has come down off the top, but it's going down in this slow, choppy nature, right? It sees bounces versus the straight down we saw in straight down death candles we saw in 2021. These candles are impulsive. This is not what you want to get caught in. But again, I think the charts are telling us we're in a correction, meaning these kind of choppy like coil ups like we saw here in May of 2023, or like we've seen on Bitcoin pretty much, every time we've corrected over the last few years, right? My computer's kind of slow, but like this one right here, or this one right here, where yes, price is coming down, but it's in a slow, choppy, like corrective nature, right? And right now I'm working on some in-depth, about halfway done with it, in-depth like chart videos that kind of go into this concept more, in depth in 20, 30, 10, 20-minute videos. So look out for that. But essentially, I think the charts again have been telling me on the higher time frames, especially, that Bitcoin and ETH are looking a lot like these corrections that we've seen over the last, in 2022, 2023, 2024, and not like what we saw in the 2021 top or bear market top. To me, I think also signs are pointing, the charts, the ETFs, the institutions that have come in, regulatory clarity with, the SEC and all these other ones, other regulators are really strong, feeling, really adamant on building like regulatory clarity. I think all of these things are very likely pointing to a break of the 4-year cycle, meaning no more 4-year cycle, and a strong 2026 where we go into the 2026, everybody realizes the 4-year cycle kind of thing is over, and I think that's going to cause a lot of FOMO. Okay, so just breaking down to Bitcoin here, it's a little bit different than ETH, but the main thing to look at here with Bitcoin that is since October 13th has been chopping down in a slow corrective manner. I think there's a great possibility that Bitcoin is either bottomed out here, or if it moves down one more time, leaves the 105 area, or at least the 103 wick here from 5 days ago. It probably leaves it there, and probably leaves it untouched. But I think Sol is probably the cleanest chart setup of them all. Posted this last week here, earlier this week. This one right here, following our chart setup pretty freaking perfectly so far. The trade idea. Thought we're gonna hit 170, 180. That's where we're at now. And now I think again, Sol is just the most obvious corrective coil up here on the higher time frames. And then now, biggest thing to focus on for any of these charts right now is the consolidation. Okay. And I put in the stream there the number one reversal indicator that everybody should be studying. And that is consolidation. Okay. It sounds simple, right? You mean like, oh, that's you know, it sounds simple, but every single major reversal, whether it be a top or bottom, if you look on the higher time frames, every single major reversal, whether it be top or bottom, consists of one thing, right? And that's consolidation. Um, let's just let this load real quick. Talking about that top in Bitcoin in 2021, um, consolidation, as you can see here. Sorry, damn, this is loading slow. I apologize. Give me 1 second, guys. Um, so just like I said in 2021, Bitcoin consolidated for almost a year. I'm sorry, 7 months before coming down. It consolidated below 6,200 before it came down. You look at every major top, even in 2017, it consolidated for 4 or 5 months before coming down. Same things for bottoms, right? Even on the lower time frames, right? We're looking at more on the lower time frames for Bitcoin and ETH and Sol. The number one thing you're looking for to determine whether, and again, not all consolidations are bottoms or tops, but if everything else lines up, the fundamentals, everything else, the number one thing you're looking for as kind of like a final piece of the puzzle or like cherry on top is consolidation. There's just something about, whenever there's reversals, some people call it accumulation or distribution. Assets have to consolidate and distribute or accumulate before changing hands. It's just something we see over and over again. I can show you on the S&P 500, for example, every time it's had its major tops, other than the rare V-shape recovery that happens or the V-shape reversal like we saw in COVID, almost always you're going to see some type of consolidation. Here, you see the last major top in April on the S&P 500. It consolidated from December 9th all the way till February. So it's 3 or 4 months of consolidation and dropped. Very rarely are you going to see a major top or bottom form without some consolidation, right? So that's kind of what I've been looking at, and that's kind of why I'm went from posting this last week with Bitcoin where I said, I think we're going to come down one. Bitcoin lost 107K. I think we're going to come down one more time to the low hundreds or 90s, which of course we did. But now what's having me so, bullish on the short-term charts too, and why I think we're going to go up from here very soon is because now we have the consolidation as well, especially on ETH and Sol. As you can see here, ETH has held this low since October 10th, 12 days now, actually. Sorry, let me share the chart. It's been holding this low now for 12 days now. And then the final piece of the puzzle, even on the very low time frames, now that it's chopping down in a corrective manner towards that low. So that's telling me very, very likely here that at the very least, which is pretty crazy too, because it's following this markup again, pretty on point too. Some more consolidation above 3,500 for ETH, and it begins journey back to all-time highs. As you can see here, the reason I saw this coming again is because I've seen so many of these different setups play out over the last 10 years that I've been trading. I know I'm old as fuck. Since I've been trading Forex and crypto, mostly crypto for the last 7 or 8 years, is before we see these bottoms, usually at major lows, you're going to see consolidation or a chop down towards that low before we see the final reversal. And that's exactly what we're seeing for ETH, playing out perfectly. I think maybe we could sweep this low just barely, but this coil up we're seeing here since October 19th tells me that the bottom is very likely in completely, and we probably shift from here. At least a pop. What could always happen too, before I end this rant on consolidation, is what could always happen here too is we do something like this and then come down. I think that's the least likely scenario. I think what's more likely is this 12 days of consolidation leads to the reversal. But again, we always have to make sure that ETH takes out this high at 4,700. If it could always again come up to 4,500 and then form another higher low. But again, I think very, very strong possibility we end the year at probably at near all-time highs or even above it for ETH. If you're just hopping in, I'm just ranting and fucking yapping about ETH and Bitcoin and Solo, where I think it's going to go over the next couple of weeks. Let me know what your feelings are. You think it's over? What are your overall like gut telling you? For me, I think everything is pointing to, especially with the charts, which we just gone over now. But really, what most people don't focus on in crypto, Twitter too, is the fundamental situation that crypto is in, which is the best it's ever been in, which we'll go in a second. Gem Cabal reposted the stream. I appreciate everybody who's reposting and everything. Aster is also oversold. Yeah, I think Aster is gonna bounce back. Yeah, ETH I believe is gonna go down. I believe for the short term. Okay, okay. Is the economical crisis the reason for this price action, or is it just the market makers? That's a good question. I think the market is a very complex. The markets are very complex, right? It's never just like one person or group of people that's just like the market makers that are deciding where charts are going. And then it's also not just because economical reasons. I think really what drives prices higher is just flows. Is there more buy or sell pressure overall? Obviously, economic stuff can, especially temporarily, move prices, switch sentiment, all that stuff. But generally, narrative actually follows price the other way around, or other way around, meaning most of the time we'll see bottoms form because corrections are just over, or corrections are just coming to an end. We'll see prices shift, and then all of a sudden a bunch of great news will come out, right? It's not always like that, but overall I would tell you that obviously bullish macro stuff like legislation for crypto, um, rate cuts, QE, all these stuff obviously have a direct effect on markets going up, but I will say a there's not a reason or an explanation or some kind of news for every price move. Oftentimes there's not. Oftentimes again, price will move up because the correction is over, buy pressure is taken over, and then people will find news to kind of explain what's going on, or a bunch of positive announcements will come out. Companies will start to launch products and stuff like that. So it's a little complex, right? It's a little bit of everything. Obviously, market makers. I think market makers, people should study what market makers really are. Obviously, a lot of them do and are incentivized to like move direction and stuff. Most of the time, especially market makers in crypto, they're only concerned with fees and providing liquidity, right? A lot of the times, if market makers weren't providing liquidity, most of these coins would just fall to zero, which is actually what we saw during a couple of weeks ago. A lot of the market makers pulled their liquidity, and the coins who were paying for market making liquidity, um, uh, their prices went to almost to zero. But yeah, so market makers, some of them, especially in other markets, do change direction, especially on the day, but they're not really like a force that's just choosing, okay, this Bitcoin especially is just going to go up today, right? It's they're more concerned on collecting fees in like a smaller range a lot of the time. Yeah, I totally agree. The Bitcoin, I believe this is a 4-year cycle, won't play out anymore. Yeah, same. GM mate, people calling for the top are foolish. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Honestly, never understood why people are so obsessed with the 4-year cycle. To be fair, it's played out so far the last 3 cycles, but obviously there's a lot different about this cycle. I think Trump meeting next week will decide the next move for Bitcoin. Interesting. Sol has been consolidating for months now. Okay. Fundamentally, we're very strong. I had a theory which I tweeted about. A good chance that CZ might be doing this purposely to nourish BNB. Yeah, I mean, see it. It's nice to see you though. Oh yeah, I already saw you. I thought you were someone else. I already talked to you, Senex. But I think CZ has a lot of resources, and he's definitely pulls the strings in a lot of ways. And you know, I expect him to continue to drive attention. What's up, Still Tripping? What's up, Unknown? What's up, Hawk? Nice to see you here, bro. Um, By the way, if you guys could, like I said, if you just hop in and like, comment, retweet, bookmark, I am going to start a 4-week streaming schedule here soon, which will consist of at least one interviewer or guest a week. Especially as the market picks up, we're doing 2 streams a week now on Tuesdays, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. How to handle something or how to do something yesterday. I already had a meeting I had to do, so we'll. I'm sorry, 4 days, not 4 weeks. A 4-day schedule. When is the tariffs talk supposed to happen? Um, that's today, right? Let's see. I think in a few hours I'll have to look. 7:55 in here. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I think the majors going to continue to chop towards this low, especially now we're pulling back. I would not be surprised. Let's come back again Friday on stream. Um, like I said, Tuesdays will be here on Friday at 11 a.m. We'll come back on Friday and we'll see where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol are at. I have a strong feeling that we'll be probably above 4,100. But if not, higher than we are now, I think. And again, that's just it's a gut feeling. If it doesn't happen, again, who knows? It could take a few days more. But I think that the bottom is very likely. And again, at least for a bounce. If something happened up here and then we just nuked through this low, that wouldn't surprise, wouldn't be too crazy either. But I think all signs are pointing to this scenario of a move higher. Real quickly, while we're on trading views, let's just look at some of the big coins. Actually, before we get to that, before I forget, we are actually streaming for the first time. I don't know if it's playing. I hope it is. Here, I'm gonna check on my phone. I'm pretty sure we're streaming for the first time on Instagram. We were earlier. I don't know if it's working. It's showing. Oh, okay. Well, that's weird because it was showing right here. Um, Interesting. Well, if it's not on there right now, I don't think it is. That's really weird. Um, Anyways, if it's not on there now, it will be next week. Definitely check us out on Instagram, TikTok, at Brent Trades. Except TikTok has two S's, just like the Twitter. And then biggest thing is probably YouTube, which we're actually streaming from right now as well. I actually want to do a giveaway. On top of the giveaway we're going to do here at the end of this stream, I want to do a giveaway for people on the YouTube. So I'll just do this now. In 20 minutes from now, I'll do a giveaway, some USDUC to somebody in the YouTube chat. So if you go over to youtube.com slash anyway, if you go to YouTube chat, youtube.com slash Brent Trades, you'll see it at the bottom of the screen there. Somebody in the chat on there, I'll go ahead and pick a winner. Definitely shoot me a sub on there as well. Going to be doing some long form content over there, as closer to the end of the year. But we'll be doing streams on there, and the UI on there for now, at least on YouTube, is actually a little bit better, I think, than the Twitter streaming. But I believe it's on November. It's on November 1st. Okay, I was thinking of something else. I believe on Friday we'll probably have a clear picture of Bitcoin movement. I think so too, bro. I agree, Ash. We'll share for you. Keep it up, G. Appreciate it. TikTok is banned here, broski. Oh wow. Where are you at? But again, if you guys are just pulling up in the stream right now, let me know if it's the first time you're here. I always love to see the first time. If you're an OG or you've been here for a while, let me know. Say OG in the chat. Mr. Beast Daily, what's up? You cover Mr. Beast content or what? Oh, you're on YouTube. That's what's up. I assume you're maybe a Mr. Beast like reaction channel or what? Clip channel. Everybody's pulling up on YouTube. What's up? What's up? Dylan Wells, Jimmy, what's up? Damn, some of you guys are going to be exposing your real names on here, huh? I'm just kidding. Appreciate you all for pulling up on the YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and do that giveaway here in 20 minutes. With this breakout coming, in which direction are the smart money flows leaning? I think the smart money is the real investors. I think the people who have more long-term outlooks and smart people, I think, are accumulating Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol and spot and other great coins. Hedge funds, and I'm starting to learn that hedge funds and a lot of these big funds and people who are trading other people's money aren't really concerned about what they think is going to happen in the next couple years and investing quote unquote smartly. They're really a lot of the time are just trying to they're really concerned with fees and buying what is relevant for their clients, so their clients don't get mad at them, and so they're able to buy what's relevant, not necessarily what they think is going to be good in 6 months. It's kind of what's hot now. So it depends. There's different levels of smart money, but the people I view as smart money, the smart investors that I know or that I've studied, who kind of help build their own thesis and kind of trade their own money, or at least trade around their own ideas and what they believe is going to be, successful in a few years. I think they're all buying crypto. They see the writing on the wall. Crypto, I think, is going to merge with traditional finance. It's going to merge with collectibles. It's going to merge with, pretty much every aspect of life. It's like the internet. It's crazy that we had the internet, which is so transformational, and then we have two other things happening at the same time right now that are just as transformational or more in crypto and AI, which obviously are going to work together as well. But it's like crypto, like the internet kind of you know enveloped or like kind of intertwined with everything in our everyday lives. Crypto is going to do the same thing in a lot of areas in blockchain. So I think just like obviously next 5 or 6 years, even if we have these corrections, being bullish on crypto, I think that's where the smart money's at. Why is my chat on the stream? Yeah, just so you guys know, yeah, so it's cool. We're using EV which is a software that puts all the chats from all the different streaming sites into one chat, which is cool. Like the tariff government shutdown are kind of affecting the natural movements for the market. Yeah, no, definitely spooks people and gets people to sell, and obviously causes corrections at times. But I tend to, just like April, I think this, we're already seeing the S&P 500 already shake off the tariff stuff. It's already, let's see, yeah, it's coming down a bit now. S&P, we could see something like this since S&P didn't take out this high. If it continues to trade down, we could see something like this, like a little bit bigger correction. But generally, I think this is a, excuse me, I think this is kind of a short-term coil up for the S&P 500. We'll see if it rockets up from here, but if it wants to trade lower, it's definitely possible we see something like this. Um, but yeah, the S&P 500 is kind of already shrugged off the tariff stuff. And I expect crypto, maybe probably soon here. They just needed a little bit more consolidation. Clarkson makes us ETH bottom. I think so, Clarkson. I think so. Hopefully, no more Trump manipulations. Yeah, I hope that'd be nice for Trump to just bull post and do nothing good for the market. Just do everything that's good and for the market for like 6 months starting this year. That'd be amazing. But Thunder1245 says, "What's up? What's up, guys?" But yeah, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and look at some alts and meme setups that I think are fucking ripe right now. But let me know what you guys are been accumulating, or if anything, have you been, buying and holding stuff, accumulating for the next leg? Have you been kind of sitting on your hands? Like what are you trading? What are your favorite memes that you've still been holding? For me, I think I'm just doing what I've found success doing every time that there's a corrective period like this. I'm talking about the corrective periods of, for example, March of 2024, or the corrective period in earlier this year, and that is buying and holding great coins that have survived these crashes before. And that doesn't mean you can just be a blind bull and just buy everything. There's going to be certain stuff that don't come back from this, or at least don't bounce very hard. But if you're able to identify the coins that are still have, in the case of meme coins, still active communities that are still pushing regardless of price being down, and especially the biggest kind of indicator for a future bounce back is if um, it's survived a crash like this before, right? The Gigas, Mongs, the SPX, ticker Bitcoins, lock-ins, USDUCs, these coins. The reason I'm so bullish on the movement memes is because these coins have survived these crashes, 70, 80% crashes, corrections before, which means that when Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol head back to the upside, just like it did here, it's a very high likelihood that it being one of the coins that survived, that it will too reach new all-time highs. And I think what's going to come on this next leg is eventually some kind of normie mania, whether it's 2021 levels or 2017 levels, I don't know, but some kind of influx of new capital. and meme coins is still going to be the number one, beneficiary of that, right? So especially the movement memes, right? I put out this tweet the other day too, or the other day today, talking about I'm so bullish on. I'm a believer in meme coins, a long term believer in meme coins, because I think as the world becomes inflation goes up, people start to feel more and more like they need a way out, and they're going to be more people are going to be more likely to gamble. It's fucked up. You would think people would be more risk adverse when there's not as much money to be had, but they're going to be more risky. They're going to be more um, likely to kind of gamble or hyper speculate to get the way out. And digital movement meme coins, I think, gives people, it sounds crazy, gives people one of the best ways, or the best way out of gambling or hyper speculating, the best way to kind of make it out. Kind of a more of a, it's not perfect, but more of a PVE type of thing versus them taking their paycheck and sending it at slots or sending it at, a parlay, right? So I think as the world becomes more and more digital, tokenized communities are going to become bigger and more popular. People are going to be looking for, they're going to be lonely and looking for ways to, movements to belong to, ways to get out of their current financial situation. And I think movement memes, the ones that survived, the ones that are very strong in SPX Giga, ticker Bitcoin Mog, a few others, USDUC, of course, have a good shot at reaching in the tens of billions, not only going all time highs, but reaching the tens of billions of dollars in market cap. So that's the movement memes I'm very bullish on. I think infrastructure, I think we've reached a new paradigm where if you're not a movement meme or a meme coin, your your coin needs to produce some type of revenue, or needs to at least give something back to holders in the way of either burning or buybacks or something. Obviously, pump, hyperliquid have completely changed the game. So I'm really bullish on the few, and not everybody's going to be able to do it. There has to be real revenue there. Hyperliquid, real revenue. Pump fund, real revenue. But any of these apps that people are using and have real revenue and then are doing buybacks, I'm very bullish on that. So for that reason, I'm bullish on Hype, Aster, um, Pump Fund, Pump, very, very bullish on right now. There's going to be the AI coins. Like, I'm not talking about the AI meme coins that kind of died out, like Tau, Pal AI. A lot of these coins are going to actually be a big infrastructure in AI crypto. Um, Stuff like that. I've been just really focused on accumulating that kind of stuff really slowly uh, until just recently, until this bottom here. I've been more kind of accelerating my buys this week because I think we are closing in on a low, very likely here. Um, but yeah, I want to go ahead and check the comments we're getting on Twitter as well. Like I said, if you guys haven't already, I'm going to do a giveaway on YouTube from the YouTube chat in about 15 minutes from now. Anybody who comments on the YouTube chat is subbed on YouTube and is comments on the YouTube chat. I'm going to go ahead and pick somebody for a USDC giveaway. Got some new followers today too. Shout out to you guys if you're still in here. Thanks for sharing. It's always appreciated when you guys retweet. And then as well, if you guys want to clip, you guys are into clipping, you're trying to start, clipping, or you just found something you really found interesting in the stream, feel free to clip. I'll always comment, retweet, engage on it, shoot you a follow. So yeah, YouTube. I'm being informed too that YouTube has a new feature on there too on the desktop where you can just clip stuff real easily if you're on YouTube as well. Game theory, please meme coins with NFTs and see how you feel about the meme coin super cycle thesis. But yeah, the top five meme and alt uh, setups. I'll mix it up between a few meme coins and non meme coins. I think number one and the first non meme coin, I really like Pump Fund. I think again, it just generally comes down to these revenue producing revenue producing coins where there's real revenue attached to it in combination with good crypto conditions. I think it's inevitable that when crypto bounces back, when the majors bounce back, this is what we see every time. If you've been around since 2023 or beyond, this is what's happened almost every single time Bitcoin comes out of corrections, right? You see Bitcoin ETH Sol come out of corrections for at least a few weeks. You see, and then you see the memes, alts, the trenches, the pump fund trenches start to heat up and start to also turn more bullish, right? I think when that happens again for Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, we're going to see the pump fund trenches obviously heat up again, which is going to create that flywheel for pump fund. It's going to create a bunch of revenue, which is going to get sent back into the coin, which is going to create this bullish revenue. I'm see this bullish narrative, and it's a flywheel. And then of course the streaming, which you guys know, I think it's a ticking time. I think it's inevitable that some big streamer is going to come in here, see what the bag work guys did, see what Bunny Fufu did, made 250K and come in and make 1 million a day on the pump fund streaming. And in that case, there could be easily be a pump fund streaming mania. All of these things in one, I think, are going to send the pump fund coin higher in 2026 or to the end of the year. So I think pump fund also with this 12 or 13 days of consolidation, if it can hold this low, I wasn't even sharing the screen. Fuck. Um. Uh. But yeah, if pump fund with the consolidation of 12 or 13 days, I think it very likely has bottomed out here as well. If Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol has hold up, and we could see pump fund doing something like this, I think. But again, chart aside, I think pump fund has the clearest narrative along with hyperliquid. Um, and then we got Mog. I think Mog right now is like maybe one of the most best risk to reward of any of these meme coins that have already established, but that's still down, what, 50, 60%. We go to Dex Screener. Um, real quick, let me look at Mog. I know a lot of you guys, a lot of comments rolling in from YouTube. Mog, I think Mog for the second setup is just the most is one of the most under, like the most best risk to reward, most established, well like loved memes out there, but it's still down. Is that 90%? That is nuts. Uh Again, that sounds crazy, but Mog has been down 90% corrections, 70-80% corrections once, twice, three times, four times here in its lifetime since 2 years ago in late 2025. I think Mog, if the whole meme coin market bounces back, which I think it does, Mog is a no brainer. Again, 10x just all time highs, 200 million. Still a pretty active community. Still a lot of people with the PFP Mog glasses. I'm still bullish on Mog. I think very, very nice setup. We're sitting actually here at a 7-month low for Mog. I think it's a big decision point. I think it's kind of hinging on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol if they go up here, which I think they do. I think we're going to see Mog shift up here as well. So you got pump, Mog. Real quickly, I'll look at one more before we look at the comments. I think let me think here. Let me look at like a bigger coin. Let me see. Oh, let's just go with Pengu. I think Pengu too down, 60, 70% now here. Been consolidating also for about 2 weeks. Pengu, obviously Luca been quiet. Abstract kind of lost a little bit of obviously Abstract lost a little bit of attention here, but I do believe it's all about the operator and the core team long term. And I think Luca's like the good as as good as they come. So I think Pengu, as long as the whole market doesn't completely collapse here, probably bottoms out and moves back towards all-time highs. And I see it on this next run up there with those movement memes that I was talking about, hitting the 5, 10, possibly higher 15 billion market cap when the market's strong. So let me get to the comments here. I see that you guys are commenting on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Altcoin Bateman, what's up? What's up, Devin? What's up, Mohammed? What's up, Mr. Beast Daily? What's up, Neat? Yeah, we'll look at Neat. USDUC Troll, SPX Uranus. I assume that's what you guys are buying. Holding Sol so bad. Locked in on both X and your YouTube. I appreciate that, Devin. Thunder. AVAX, Injective, Link, UFD, XRP, Troll, Giga. All great coins. Check out Mooncat. Yeah, we can look at Mooncat. But you never know when they start panic selling even the movement coins, right? Yes, for sure. That's a good point. But the reason why I'm so bullish on movement coins is because there's an element and a very, at least in the good ones, you see this in the SPX, Gigas, Mogs, USDUC especially. You see it in UFD, the coin we had Basement Run on last week. You see it in Troll. You see it in these coins that have communities that are still strong and bull posting and representing staying active while price is down. So yes, there's obviously a point where most people sell off even in the movement meme coins, but there's still a strong group. You see it especially in SPX. Their whole thing is there is no chart. They don't even look at the fucking chart. They're just like, they're just so bullish on the movement, right? So yes, there's an element of that, but it's a lot less than other coins. First time watching the stream. What's up, Puff Daddy? What do you think of? That's a crazy name to be having right now, bro. No, I'm just playing with you. What do you think of Bitcoin recent all-time high happening on a harvest moon in the most recent local Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, let's look. Do I still have it? I'm not gonna lie. I have the moon phases here on here. Only because I've looked at this over the years. Like, Puff Daddy, it's honestly really crazy how these things line up. Is there some kind of fucking, do the powers that be use moon phases and that's what I don't have no fucking clue. But I will say this is actually really interesting. For those of you guys don't know, moon phases, they're supposed to, one of these is like the waning moon, the other one of them's a full moon, the other one's the, are they all full moons? I don't remember. They're either full, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. It's like the no moon and then the full moon. Right? I don't know what that's exactly called, but so essentially this type of moon is supposed to come before tops and this one's before bottoms. And it's pretty crazy how these line up. Like you see this one right here, July 23rd, right before the top on Pengu. Right here, kind of before a bounce. Right here, right at the top on Pengu. Even if you go to Bitcoin, like in the past, sometimes it's not always perfect. Sometimes it's random. But like this one, for example, right before the top. This one right here, right before the bottom, right before the bottom, right before the bottom. I don't know what to make of it. A lot of times it's really weird how it's really like right, almost always before major tops. I don't know what the fuck to make of it. Obviously I'm not really doing any analysis based on the moon phases. I think it's extremely interesting. Is there something, do the powers that be are fucking doing moon rituals to move the markets? I don't know. But I think it's interesting nonetheless how it lines up like that. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chat. Happening on a harvest moon in the yeah, it's nuts how it lines up like that sometimes. Also, you can't get Giga cheaper than this. Yes, Giga as well, just right up there with Mog. What about the altcoins that reached near zero on that major dump day? Was it possible for anyone to buy on that dump? And how is that even possible? Can you explain that? Yes, NFT Jimmy. Shout out to you, bro. So that's an amazing question. So there's a lot to unpack there, kind of. Let me get some water really quickly so I don't have a dry mouth. So altcoins that reached near zero on that major dump day, was it possible for anyone to buy on that dump? I'll hit that one first. So it depends on the exchanges. A lot of exchanges were completely down. I know there's some exchanges out there that you were able to buy at least on the way down. Now those very bottom wicks on the altcoins, some of them going down 98, 99%, a lot of them zero. A lot of what that was, Jimmy, was actually Binance and a lot of the other oracles or the price data, essentially simply put the price data and the exchange failing the data. So a lot of those coins didn't actually really reach those lows, meaning nobody could really buy that low. It's more of a price failure, and in fact created wicks, and in turn created wicks that'll never, I think, will never be reached on a lot of them. Like Pengu, for example, this chart looks completely fucked, but I think this wick down on Pengu was not like really a real wick. It had a lot to do with the price failure, a lot to do with liquidation cascades, and completely and got bought back up, or at least got brought back up. So to answer your question, there was a point where some people were able to buy in some places, but when you're asking about at the very, very bottom, very, very unlikely that anybody, at least as long as they weren't like someone at the exchange, were able to fill bids down here. I don't know anybody who did. I don't think it's, at least like not at the very lows, but people were able to buy if they were awake and paying attention and on um, Coinbase and a few other ones that were working for a bit. So yes, very few people were to get entries. To answer your question, a lot of this was price data failure on the exchange's part, not really real prices. Um, and I think, and again, in turn, even if Pengu were to come down more here, I think we're likely to see a that it probably will never come back down here, or at least it won't come back down here before it goes back up. I think it's a great question, though. I really appreciate these ones. Let me try to get. I'm behind on comments. Like I said, I wanted to make this stream heavily uh, comments and reading comments and seeing what you guys are up to, answering questions. If you guys just hopped in, if you could like, comment, retweet, bookmark. We're talking about the majors. We're talking about some great coin setups. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want me to look at, we're doing a lot of a lot of chat interaction today. Brent, what do you think about Sol from here? I think Sol very likely has seen its bottom or is very close, at least before a big bounce. Sol opinion, I think Sol is very likely bottomed. You streaming on Insta too? Uh, it if it's not on Insta today, I don't think we're able to. If there's still some difficulty, we will be next week. So if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at Instagram/Brent Trades. Many of us waiting on Sol volume to return. Yeah, I know it's been rough. USDUC, yeah, I'll look at USDUC right now. Been eyeing Pump, Pengu, USDC, Zora, all great coins, all great coins. When Pump airdrop, I don't know. I think they'll hit the Pump airdrop when the market recovers. Love the stream, appreciate you guys. If you guys are either on YouTube or Twitter and you're new in the stream, let me know and say new. I am working on something over the next week or so. Will come out where will be some free, resources and value, maybe 5 to 10 hours of content for you guys completely for free to kind of get you right before this next bullish period. What do you think of DAT? Look at that. I'll look at DAT USDUC in a second. First time joining. Thank you, Erickson. Appreciate you, bro. Bossman calls. Appreciate you. Believe the power pump fund snapshot has already been taken. Very possible. Locked in on both YouTube X and Instagram. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, agreed, Brent. I believe we will see some of the biggest pump fund stream names going to come soon. Yep. So many comments from YouTube and X. Yeah, I know. Love that. BNB meme coins did revive the meme market for a bit, but I think this cycle is going to come to an end whenever this euphoria finishes. It's more like short-term satisfaction. Yeah, I think if we do hit stride with the rest of the crypto market, that BNB can continue to be a strong force in meme coins. Big coins like Troll and Uranus need to run. Yeah, I think both of those will bounce back hard. Let me know in the chat. Let me know your favorite meme coin community. What you ride hardest for, like if you had to pick one. Here on X and YouTube. Fuck yeah, you guys are. With Bitcoin consolidating, how do you identify which meme or alts are prime for breakout versus those that are just noise? Like I said, I'm really big on movement memes, meaning there's a strong movement behind the meme coin other than just price go up. SPX, Giga, MOG, ticker Bitcoin, USDUC definitely being the youngest, but like right up there with all of those. Bro, USDUC is dumping hard. Okay, let's look at it. I'm not trying to look at it in euro. Why is euro coming up first? That's crazy. Let me look at it on Dex Screener. Unstable coin. So USDUC, obviously big correction like everything else. Right now it's down 60, 70%. But if we look left, these are obviously tighter corrections, but it has survived 1, 2, this is a 75% one, 3, 4, 5 50% corrections just in the last 5 months alone. So what does that tell me? Of course, nothing's for sure. All of this is a bet, speculative in the sense that it's a thesis that I have that I'm following, just like I've seen every other time Bitcoin ETHs bounce back, that meme coins bounce back, at least the good ones. I think that happens again this time. And so bullish on USDUC because of the movement and how strong and optimistic these guys are. But really, the charts tell me too that it's survived these 50% corrections before. And like somebody asked earlier, every time it corrects like this, the community grows stronger. Uh, and the supply goes into more longer term holder diamond hand holders hands, so it's bullish. I'm bullish on USDUC. Again, it's going to be dictated on what the majors do, but you guys already know I think the majors are coming to their bottoms. This Toka Boo mode was promised to us 770 years ago. Damn, it's a lot. Manifesting Diva, what's up? Nice to see you. You're casting spells under the moon. Are you let us know, are you a big believer in the moon cycles and predicting market moves, or what? Waning and waxing, that's what they are. Oh, waning and waxing are diminishing and growing. Yeah. Maybe they're scared of the dark with the new moons. Maybe. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. What do you think about streaming coins? Good question. I'm bullish on I like I said, I think the cat's out of the bag. I think Pandora's box is opened as far as their streaming, token streaming goes. And a lot of these mid and high level streamers are probably watching right now. And I think I don't know who it's going to be. It's probably going to be a couple people in the next couple months. They're going to launch streams, have big names, which will create runners, $100 million runners, which will create a kind of a mania in the whole space. But what also do is for the streamers that are staying consistent right now and actually streaming, I think are going to send them way higher. I like Gainsey's stream. I think people like Rasmer. Um, the biggest sleeper, I think, the one I really like, what I put in this list that I put out last week, is Bun Coin. Bun is Bunny Fufu. This guy, he's a League of Legends, just gaming streamer, like an OG. Been in the game for a long time. Has a YouTube channel, a couple 100,000, 200K on YouTube, 200K on Twitter. He started streaming kind of a couple weeks ago, and then he made 250K in like the first week. Other than like 1 or 2 days, he's been streaming 24/7 the entire time. He's a very like super Chad, like optimistic dude who's just has a lot of connections in the real world streaming space. He recently just did this thing where I don't know why he didn't pin it. Maybe he did. Essentially, where he
getting 50% of everything,
buying 50% of all his future YouTube sponsorship and his creator reward revenues to buy back the coin. So half of his money he gets from YouTube, TikTok sponsorships, he's putting and sending straight back into the coin. I think this is very bullish. Again, the revenue thing. People who have revenue from and putting it back into the flywheel of the coin. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys, I had to handle a call. Somebody called me, but yeah, I think that's going to spark a mania, and coins like Bun Coin, Stream Season, Rasmer, Gainsey Coin. Those ones will probably are good buys right now. A lot of them are low cap, very little volume, but that's just my thesis. I think that's probably what's going to happen in the next couple months, very likely, and then we'll see if tokenized streaming could be the future of streaming, or it always could be. I think there's a lot of problems going on with the botted streams on Twitch and TikTok, Twitch and Kick. We'll see if that, who knows, it could lead to another model, which could be the token streaming. You're probably far off from that, but yeah, that's what I think about streaming coins. Major all exchanges were down, so I don't think most people weren't able to buy. What's your take on meme coins holding strong while majors chill? Is this rotation or just extra liquidity season? Yeah, I already went over that. I think memes are going to bounce back, the good ones. I was awake, bro, and no exchanges were working. To be honest, I don't believe it was possible to buy that low. Sorry, guys. Someone keeps calling me. But Mike, appreciate you, bro. Watch back. We're just talking today, going over some charts and talking about Bitcoin and stuff. But let's see. You feel this whole bottom will be 160? Maybe. Bullish on Pengu, yeah, same. Pump airdrop while being below ICO price would be a bad. Yeah, I think they're gonna wait. Here for the free education. Thank you. Crypto needs more people like you. Appreciate that. Well, it's crazy how CZ is manipulating the whole BNB season. Yeah, CZ knows how to drive attention for sure. Yeah, no worries, Jimmy. Thanks for the question. Let me see if I'm missing any questions before I move on. Probably stay on for another 10 minutes or so. I want to keep it as close to an hour as possible today since there's not too much crazy shit going on. You guys should definitely check out Thread Guy's stream today after he's interviewing Peter Schiff, which I think will be a good interview. What's up, Manifesting Diva? She said, I'm a huge believer in the moon cycles. Yeah, maybe we'll have to have Manifesting Diva come up here sometime and shill us on the moon cycles. Token Trez said, what's up? What the fuck? Do you think Bitcoin breaks all-time high anytime soon? Yes, I do. I think Bitcoin breaks all-time high to end the year, if not in the beginning of the year. Useless to 1 billion? Yes. I believe just need a popular streamer to come. Yes, I think so too. What's up, Clarkson? Well, that's crazy for Pump Fun. We've been on a long phase of consolidation. Are we seeing a rotation from majors? What do you believe about ecosystem ICM coins? See, like I don't have as much conviction on ICM as CCM, not because one's better than the other. I just haven't really dove into the ICM thing, and I don't really know if I believe that companies are going to launch like token model through that. I guess I do though, because right, like I just told you guys that I'm a really big believer in revenue and creating a flywheel for tokens for revenue. So I think coins like Kled, I think Kled is really interesting, Mr. Beast. I'm calling him Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast Daily. Fucking I think Kled, for example, is really interesting. They have enterprise data or whatever that they're providing car companies and stuff. Essentially all the contracts that they sell, 30% or 50%, one of the two, gets sent back into the coin. So if they're going after $500 million contracts, they get it 30% or whatever it is, gets sent right back into the coin. That kind of stuff I think is really interesting. I don't really know too many projects besides Kled and Dupe. I've heard is good too. Besides that, I don't really know any coins, but I think that makes a lot of sense. I think ICM, CCM, a few of these are gonna to really take off. Says you can't hear me. Oh, you can. Okay, I was just off for a second. The AWS outage the other day. Yeah, it fucked with NFTs, a lot of stuff. I haven't analyzed ICP, but I'll look at ICP. What about Fartcoin? When face reveal? Soon. Soon. Fartcoin. Yeah, Fartcoin. Generally, without going too much into it, I think Fartcoin is going to recover just like MOG, SPX, Giga. If the rest of the market recovers, so too will Fartcoin. Crazy to see it down about almost 90%. I think it's just its first 90% correction or close. No, it's all one other one. Second 90% correction. But I generally think Fartcoin will bounce back with the majors. Yeah, it's good, bro. Been here since the beginning. Appreciate it. Your thoughts on Aster? Aster, I think, bounces back. Let's look at the chart. Yeah, Aster, same kind of thing as Fart. I think Aster with CZ, everything going on, is going to continue to be a strong player. I think most of these hyped up coins need to see a big correction like this. And in fact, this is really only like a 50% correction. So it looks really big. But generally, I think Aster will bounce back again with all the fundamental things with CZ, all the attention they're going to continue to drive to it. More people trading crypto, I think, will mean Aster higher. And I mean, if you've been looking for an opportunity to buy it, this is probably a way better opportunity than, buying it on the way up. Fartcoin, I believe, hot air will rise. Yes, same. All right, I'll do that giveaway on YouTube again. It's your last chance if you guys want to. Everybody on here, make sure to go to YouTube, sub, and write something in the chat. I'm gonna do a USDC giveaway. You can see it on the bottom of the screen there, youtube.com/BrenTrades. Let me go on here right now. Are we even live on YouTube? Yeah, of course we are. What am I saying? Why is it not showing up though? Here. Yeah, but usually it would show that I'm live. Let me check. Let me check. Like I said, just leave something in the stream. We're up to 207 subs, so I think 20 subscribers today. Appreciate you guys. Again, only clips on here so far. Going to work on some longer form content, or we already are. So look out for that. But let's go ahead and look at the chat. 12 watching right now. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Why is the chat not pulling up? Come on. Okay. Let's see. It only lets me go. Oh, man. It doesn't. Someone said clip the stream. Appreciate you guys for clipping it. Let me see. Does it allow me to see? Are you able to see the whole chat? Can't stop me now. You like the whole, like it goes back into the beginning. Okay, I want you to do this. I'm talking to my producer right now, just so you guys know I'm not fucking psychotic talking to myself. You guys can't hear him, but what I have you do then. Uh, everybody say, "What's up? Can't stop me now," or in the chat because he's gonna be picking this right now. I want you to go to the beginning, and I want you to scroll randomly up and down a bunch of times, and I want you to pick a random number that's you know higher than a little bit higher 10 higher than 10 or 20, whatever number you pick, and stop randomly on a name. Make sure you're really going up and down, trying to get as random as possible. um, just so you guys know. Damn, seeing a lot of you guys top fans. Damn, this is kind of cool. um, but yeah, he's going to do that right now, and he's going to telegram me the name. And again, try to get up there because a lot of people are spamming the chat right now, but try to get up for the older comments too. Try to get random. But yeah, he's going to do that right now. I always appreciate you guys. We'll continue to do these as well. I want to get these streams out on YouTube and other streams, other avenues as much as possible. It's been pretty crazy on YouTube from what I've read. Viewership numbers as far as crypto content is back down to 2019 levels right now. A lot of these great Bankless, Alex Becker's a little bit bigger, but Bankless, all these other videos are only getting 10, 15K views right now. But I think as crypto has a big resurgence, I think that will only increase. So want to get out on the other platforms, YouTube, TikTok, X, I think will always be the headquarters. Love X. I think X will be a big player in the streaming space as well. But let's see, did you telegram it to me yet? Okay, let me look at this. That's the name on YouTube? Okay, so the winner is Miss MD Real 777. Um, MD Real 777. Congrats. I will go ahead and send you your USDC after this. DM me on Twitter if you haven't already. Or I mean, sorry, follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. And we'll get to that. Let's see. But yeah, I'll go ahead and send that to you after the stream. Sorry, just reading something. We'll go ahead and do that again next week. So make sure you're following on YouTube, TikTok. We might do it on TikTok next week. So do make sure you're following on TikTok. But let's go. Let's see if before we sign off here in a second. Let's go ahead and check on Bitcoin. Let's see here. Yeah, same kind of thing. I think ETH. We'll come back here on Friday and check it out, but I think ETH is going to chop down towards this low and very likely climb back to the upside to end the week, or to end the, maybe not to end the week, to end the month probably. Yeah, we'll see if Bitcoin wants to break through this low or not. If it did, I think it would probably stop between 103, 104. Let's see. Notifications on. Damn, there's so many fucking comments. Random, not lucky for me as always. I appreciate you guys for being on here. What do you think of Pump? I think Pump bounces back because of its revenue flywheel. If crypto conditions improve to end the year, or beginning of this year, I think appreciate you for being here, Mike. Good to see you. No chopping down. You want price to reverse right here. No more pain. No, I feel you, bro. It's been a long year, but I think that's just going to point to off years, off 2025, slow 2025. I think is going to be another explosive 2026. Versus if we just went up 23, 24, 25, that probably leads to a long bear market. But I don't think the long bear market comes until we see the blow off tops and prices up a bunch. Bitcoin at 200K in a couple months. Meme coins up at 10 billion. Like that's the kind of bear market behavior, bear market top behavior. I don't think we're there yet. Are you holding some lock in? Yeah, I haven't sold any of my lock in. I've been buying a little bit slowly here. Obviously, locked in down a lot from all time high, but one of the few remaining communities, I think. Nice to see you, Wonka. Been a really long year. Yeah, it's been nuts. I'm gonna check Twitter. I'll be on for another. We'll sign off in about 2 minutes. Again, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, bookmark for the next stream. I'll be back on Friday, 11 a.m. PST. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm just looking at something. And by the way, if you see anybody in Telegram, Taj said shish. If you see anybody in Telegram, either in Bossman Calls or another Telegram channel or on my anywhere, anybody says this, just copy trade them, you'll make profits. It's a scam. They just put that on Telegrams and Twitters. They get people to DM them and connect their wallet to a copy trader and then drain their wallet. So if you ever see this, just know it's a scam. I think it's pretty obvious to most people, but just keep yourself safe. Right now, the scammers are kind of like, just pulling back like everybody is. But when crypto is popping again and a lot more people are trading, expect a lot of people are going to be trying to drain your wallets and stuff. So always be careful. Never click on links, sign transactions, do any deals where you have to send anybody money or use any weird site. Protect yourself. Get a ledger. All right. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Appreciate you, Taj. I don't know if you're on here, but yeah, with that, guys, not too much else going on today. I'm gonna go ahead and get some lunch. Again, I think ETH, when we come back here on stream on Friday, I think we'll either see ETH probably higher than it is now, if not either bounced or broken this low here at 3,600. I think the next move's to the upside. But yeah, I think like I've been saying the last few days, I mean, these corrective periods are fucking. This last year has just been agonizing, but I think this off year in 2025 very likely points to a strong 26 because if we're gonna have crypto stay around, especially meme coins, all these different new asset classes, we should expect down years, right? It can't be up all the time. And in fact, down years points to a more sustainable market, especially if we're able to have a strong 2026. So yeah, I don't think it'll be long. I think we'll bounce back here. I think we're in a moment just like kind of like we were in April, like we were this time in 2024, which I'm sure is a time where a lot of you guys came around for the first time. Um, I think really real quickly, I think I'll show you, I think where we're at. I think we're like we were in 2024. I think we're kind of in this moment right here, in September. Obviously we're in October of 25, but I think we're the equivalent of September of 24, where we're coming towards the end of this corrected period before Bitcoin heads back to the upside. And if you want to know what happens next for memes and alts, study what happened after this. Memes, alts down 70 to 90%. Bitcoin came up. The coins that survived went on to 10, 20, 30x. A lot of them a lot higher. I think the same thing's going to happen here. So with that, love you guys. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day, night. I appreciate you for going on the YouTube thing. I will pick at the end of the stream here, and I will post it this time in the on the tweet. I'll pick another 100 USDC giveaway from somebody in the comments of this tweet. But I appreciate everybody for coming on every week. I know it's pretty boring, not a lot going on in crypto, but like I always say, the times that I locked in, kept learning while everybody else was fucking around, and stayed engaged while the market was down, those are the times I saw the biggest breakthroughs or the most results in the months following. So love you guys. Shout out to you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you're at in the world. And I'll see you or talk